Hello everybody, blessed Easter to everybody who's watching. Welcome to another episode of Gospel Garden. I am your Gospel Garden CEO Frequency host, Miss Socraso. Boy, do I have an awesome episode for you. This is an episode you really do not want to miss. This is an episode, you want to tape it. You want to, of course, you want to like it. You want to share it because you want to go back and watch it again and again and again. So stay tuned right here on Gospel Garden. And what do I have in this episode for you? Of course, this whole episode, is dedicated to gospel hip hop. I'm going to have a guest joining me later on in the show. We're going to look at charts. We're going to talk about the past, the present, and there are a lot of things on gospel hip-hop that are coming up in the future. So stay tuned. You really do not want to miss this. And I know you're going to miss the Urban Contemporary Gospel Music playlist on Spotify. But don't worry. You can still go on Spotify and check it out for yourself. But for now, we're going to swerve in the gospel hip-hop here for today. So stay tuned. But before we start with anything, I just want to stand still with the news that went out worldwide yesterday about DMX, who OD'd, who had a heart attack, who is fighting for his life right now in the hospital. From CL Frequency, from Gospel Garden, from me, Miss Socraso, all our prayers go out to him, to his family, to everybody that holds him dear. Let's join forces and let's pray for him because we know God can bring total recovery to the mind, to the body, to the soul. DMX, we wish you all the best and our prayers are with you. Well, this episode, like I told you guys, it's all about gospel hip hop today. So we're going to switch things up a little bit. So join me. Who is new on the chart? Who is on number one? Is it still Pastor Mike Jr.? Does he still got it? Is there a newbie in the chart? Let's check it out with the charts for this week. And unfortunately, he probably still has it, but he's no more number one on the charts. We have a new number one on the Billboard Gospel National Airplay chart this week, and it is Mr. Byron Cage. Yes. It's a name you probably all have heard from. If you haven't heard from it, like I'm always telling you, go on every social media, find him, subscribe, like, give him thumbs up, give him some love. And our number one new on the Gospel Billboard National Airplay chart. Here is Byron Cage with I Can't Give Up.
I can't give up. Oh, I can't give up. I can't give in. I'm not gonna give in.
And then we have a newbie on the chart. Yes, he came in at number 26 this week. His name is Jermaine Dolly. Remember the name, Jermaine Dolly. And of course, like I'm always telling you guys, I wouldn't be Miss Socraso if I didn't have a little snippet of his song for you. So here is Jermaine Dolly with I'll Go.
Oh, if you lead me, Lord, I'm sure to follow. Just say so and don't go. The road ahead, baby.
So these were the charts for this week. Join us again next week for new charts, newbies. Is he still going to be on number one? Who knows? Join us again next week for some more chart news right here on Gospel Garden. So let's go. I told you this week was all about hip hop, holy hip hop, gospel hip hop. Don't know how you want to call it, Christian hip hop. At least today it's all about hip hop. So let's hip hop into the hip hop section right here on Gospel Garden with Mr. Crusoe. Yes, like I said, Christian hip hop, gospel rap, holy hip hop, gospel hip hop, whatever name you want to, call it. It was characterized by the Christian worldview with the general purpose solely to evangelize and to edify, some of the members of the church, or simply entertainment. It was never actually meant to go on mainstream. And Christian hip-hop, it emerged from the urban communities in the US. I think it was about in the 80s somewhere. And it was actually exclusively in the underground scenes. And it had minimal promotion, little bit of mainstream attention, and it was emphasizing the positive and uplifting messages to promote faith and belief. And then, Christian hip-hop music, it kind of blended with, we call it, folks, we have the rhythm, and then we have the faith-based lyrics. And the first track of gospel hip-hop that emerged was from 1982. It was a track entitled Jesus Christ, from a man in Queens, New York, and the artist's name is MC Sweet. MC Sweet, 1982. He came with the first recorded gospel hip-hop track called Jesus Christ. His real name is actually Pete Harrison. I wouldn't be Mr. Crusoe if me and my whole team dived into the archives and found the track Jesus Christ from MC Sweet. So here's a little snippet for you to watch.
That's right, entered into my life. He washed away all of my sins, gonna make me chilly nice to praise him. That's right, hallelujah. Come on, y'all, hallelujah.
Now you could hear from that track that it was really from the age like Jesus Christ entered into my life. It's like really way, way back. But if you just listen to the lyrics, then the lyrics are still on point for this time. And the first full-length Christian hip-hop album was by an Oklahoma artist called Stephen Wiley, and it was released in 1985 called Bible Break. And also in the 80s, you started to see the first gospel rap groups emerging from the scene. And one of the first ones, I'm not saying that they're the first, but one of the first is P.I.D. Oh my God, I love that group so much. When they came into the Netherlands, like the stadium was like sold out. Everybody was like, yes, preachers in disguise. Man, these guys, they were rocking it. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, then here's a little clip for you from Preachers in Disguise called Grace.
Check it out. Cold, your heart was hungry, he fed your soul sick, your body broken, he made you whole. Now you're on a new plateau in the flow of the G.O.D. Cooling in the heavenlies, never did these promises work before. Now every morning I...
Man, that tune, if you were from my days, back in the days, if you hear this track, it brings back so many memories. And Preachers in Disguise, they weren't the only group that emerged from the urban scene into gospel rap. You had groups like DC Talk, you had ETW, End Time Warriors, you had SFC, Soldiers for Christ, and all were led by great gospel artists. And also in that time, you had like Super C and Super Chris. Stay with me on this one, because I'm going somewhere. He had Super Chris, who changed his name into D-Boy. His actual name was Danny Rodriguez. Hey, I like the way the R came. Danny Rodriguez. But his artist name was D-Boy. And unfortunately, he died on a very young age. But before he died, he helped his sister with her gospel career. And his sister was also one of the first females MC. Yes, we women were there. We were there when they opened the grave, and we were there when gospel rap started to emerge from the urban scene back in the 80s. So his sister's name is Jeannie Rodriguez Lopez, and her stage name was MC Gigi. And of course, yes, I wouldn't be Mr. Croissant if I have a little snippet for you from one of the songs of MC Gigi, one of the first female MCs back in the 80s. Let's watch it.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Clap your hands and lend an ear. I'm on the mic, so Satan, stand clear. I'm brand new, can you stand to listen? Jesus won, so Satan, I'm dissing you, cause you have no strength. God is...
I am telling you, we are diving in to the history of gospel hip-hop right here on Gospel Garden. Man, this was like MC Gigi from way back. You could hear it like, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Yes, you're Mr. Croissant. I know how to rap. Maybe, I'll throw some bars somewhere. I'm not saying when. I'm not saying in this episode. You just got to stay tuned because I have something cooking up in my kitchen, but I'm not telling you what I'm going to serve you. So, like I told you before, I have a guest on my show. He just arrived in the studio, and you want to know who it is? Then you got to stay tuned right here in Gospel Garden, where we are dedicated this whole episode to gospel hip-hop. So stay tuned. Yes, and he is here, our own gospel hip-hop artist from the Netherlands, international artist. He has a number of tracks on his name. He's not a newbie to the scene, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself to you all. Help me to welcome to Gospel Garden Hip Hop Edition, King's Child with double D. Yay!
Yes. So here I am, King's Child, KC, double D. So that's me. Yes.
You see, the guy is introducing himself, and he is doing it in a lyrical way as well. How awesome is that? So, King's Child, welcome to Gospel Garden.
Thank you.
Can you tell my viewers, how long have you been rapping?
Well, I think sometime right now, since I was a juvenile, I begin with rap my own lyrics, and it started going, and on a certain moment I began to record when I became more serious about it. So that's about 4 years ago, and I bring something out, and till now I still do it.
Yeah, because you're saying it, yeah, and then, then I started, like 4 years ago, yeah, and then I bring something out, yeah. He's bringing it like he's hardly doing anything, like he's only performing, for preschoolers or toddlers or anything, but this guy is serious. Look at him. This guy, my guest, owns his own record label. Yes, so he's not only, I'm doing a little bit. I like the way, how you're down to it and everything, but he owns his own record label. He has multiple tracks on his name. You can find him on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can find him on all social medias, him and his record label. So don't think, when you see him like, he's just, like I told you, he's not a newbie. He's a serious gospel hip-hop artist. Yes. And I'm so glad that he's here. When I invited him, and he was like, yes, do this, because this guy breathes hip-hop. He sleeps hip-hop. He eats hip-hop. His whole thing is like, yes, I'm a hip-hop artist. And then, even in his introduction, he was doing it in a lyrical way. Yeah, props to you.
Yes.
And we were talking about the show, like one of your favorite gospel groups. And I know that one of your favorite gospel groups is from the US, Compton. And if I say Compton, y'all might think like, okay, who? It is a gospel group who emerged like in the 90s. They're from Compton, South Central LA. Who am I talking about?
I think you're referring to Double G.
Yes! Gospel Gangsters, man.
Yes.
This group, when they came on the gospel scene, they were like fire.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
I used to do like dramas with my youth group in church, and we always used their lyrics. And the people that came were like, man, where can I get this music? Where can I get this music? This music is awesome. And we were like, this is gospel music. And they were like, what? I
Oh,
was like,
yes.
yes, this was gospel music.
I remember one day I was at school and I was listening to Gospel Gangsters. And so I had my Walkman on my disc.
Yes.
So I was listening to the Gospel Gangsters, and some guy that was over there asked me for, hey, what are you listening to? So I took off my earphones and gave them to him, and he was like, huh? Who's this? So I told him, that's Gospel Gangsters. I thought it's Christian. I said, no, it's not Christian.
Yeah.
So it's great group. Yeah.
Yes, everybody was like baffled, you know, with their
Yes.
with their tight lyrics and you know just their music. And don't think that Gospel Gangsters is just any normal group. They released 8 albums.
Yes.
And their first album came in on number 19 on the top Christian album Billboard chart. If you are wondering by now, like who are these Gospel Gangsters, then let's watch a clip from Gospel Gangsters.
Yes.
Far from them if I'm a family of colors. All I ever wanted was to be accepted, not rejected. But being a young gangster, you got respected. The Compton Unified Schools, I started wrecking. Getting kicked out fast as I checked in. Deep down in my heart.
Yes, but you know who was also one of my favorite artists? He's also from the 90s. His name is Rene Francisco Sotomayor. Who am I talking about?
Oh, let me guess. I think Boney Bone.
Oh my God, you're good! Yes, I'm talking about T-Bone.
Yes.
Man, he had this track called Lyrical Assassin. Oh my
yeah.
God.
I
It was like,
remember.
I'm the lyrical assassin. My lyrics go pop, pop, pop. Yeah, and all the demons get struck. Oh my God. He was like, he was awesome.
The Hoodlum testimonies.
Yeah. Oh, he is
Yeah.
so awesome. And you know, probably you don't know who I'm talking about. And if you think, let me tell you an interesting fact about T-Bone. You know how he got the name T-Bone? Because he was skinny. He was skinny, so they used to call him Bone. And they just added the T,
The
you
T.
know, to give a little bit of edge to his name.
Yes.
And the name kind of stick with him. You probably know T-Bone also from his role in I'm in Love with the Church Girl. He also played a great part in the movie with Beyonce and Montel Jordan, Fighting Temptation. Yes, but he is mostly known for being a gospel rapper, being a gospel artist. So here is for you a little clip for T-Bone.
T-Bone.
Assassin, cause homeboy, you get struck. Cause I'm the lyrical assassin, my lyrics go and all the demons get struck. I'm the lyrical assassin, my lyrics go and all the demons get.
I told you T-Bone is good. Man, I had the privilege of meeting him one time when I was in the US. And when you see him, he's like this big, rough guy, because he's not bony anymore. He's not skinny anymore. But when you see him, he looks really rough, but he's so gentle-hearted.
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
And you know what I find interesting? Within the Christian hip-hop culture, you have various features and same styles as Midwest, West Coast, East Coast, Dirty South, King West. And you also have this group, DC Talk, and they have a mixture of hip-hop, rock, and gospel in their songs. But now we're talking about, you know, gospel rappers, gospel hip-hop artists from the US. But I know there is a huge gospel hip-hop rap community in the UK.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So who's your favorite UK gospel hip-hop artist?
I was introduced to this guy a couple years ago. His artist name, I think, is Dwayne Triumph.
Dwayne,
know
oh
him?
my God, Lucchini.
Oh, that's his name right now.
Yes, that's
but-
his name right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
But I know him as Dwayne Triumph.
yeah.
Yes.
If you don't know who we are talking about, he is a awesome gospel hip hop artist from the UK. Like, like I'm telling you, it's not only in the US, but gospel artists, whether it's a hip hop artist, neo soul artist, whatever kind of artist, they are worldwide. And I know there is a big gospel rap, gospel hip hop community in the UK. And like King's Child said, Dwayne Triumph. Oh my goodness. If you listen, he is like, I don't know, tongue twister. When you listen to
That's-
one of his songs,
That's called Lyrical Miracle.
hey, you see? Say it again.
Lyrical Miracle.
Hey, I told you know what he's talking about. So we're going to show you a little clip from Lucchini where he's doing Lyrical Miracle. And I've chosen this clip because you can see the words, because you need the words to follow him. Watch this.
You need to listen. Remember in the beginning, the web was living within him. The seraphim and the singing, he said there's something still missing. He wanted someone to bring him an offering that was willing, not someone who was serving him just because he was telling them. So he made a planet and put a man in it to manage it and replenish it and made a God of a fellowship. Now the devil was jealous and Genesis doesn't tell us this, but Isaiah 14 gives us the...